The ship moved slowly through the dark sky. Commander Taemin stood at the front window and looked at the dead planet below. His scales caught the red light from the dying star. He was Virith, one of the dragon people who ruled the galaxy. His kind had ruled for 500 years. The planet was called Theta 9. Once, humans had lived here. Now it was just rocks and ash. Taemin had seen many dead human worlds. This was his job. The Virith collected things from these places and then erased all records. They wanted no memory of humans to remain. His second officer, Kovan, walked up beside him. The younger Virith looked nervous. This was his first mission to a human ruin. "Commander, the scans show nothing alive down there," Kovan said, "just like all the others." Taemin nodded. "Good. We land in the main settlement. Take what technology remains. Then we destroy the rest." The ship descended through clouds of dust. The colony had been small. Maybe 10,000 humans had lived here once. The buildings were broken now. Walls had fallen. Roads were covered in dirt. Wind blew through empty streets. Taemin led his team of 6 soldiers through the ruins. They wore armor that protected them from the radiation. Their scanners beeped as they searched for useful items. Most human technology was primitive compared to Virith machines, but sometimes they found interesting things. They walked past a school. The roof had collapsed. Small desks lay scattered inside. Taemin felt something strange in his chest. His teachers had told him humans were monsters. They said humans wanted to conquer everything. The Virith had stopped them, saved the galaxy. But looking at those small desks, Taemin wondered. Monsters did not build schools for children. "Commander," Kovan called out, "we found something. A basement under this building. The door is still sealed." Taemin walked over. The building had once been a home. 2 stories, now mostly rubble. But beneath it, metal doors were closed tight. His scanner showed power still running inside. That was unusual. Very unusual. "Open it," he ordered. 2 soldiers used cutting tools. The metal resisted but finally gave way. The doors fell open with a crash. Air rushed out. It was fresh air, not the stale poison on the surface. Taemin went down the stairs first. Emergency lights flickered on as he entered. The basement was large. It had been built as a shelter. Food containers lined one wall. Water tanks stood in the corner. Medical supplies filled cabinets. Someone had prepared this place to keep people alive for a long time. Then he heard it, a sound that made his blood freeze. Crying. Someone was crying. Taemin raised his weapon. His team spread out. The crying came from behind a door at the far end. Kovan looked at his commander with wide eyes. They both knew what it meant. Life. Impossible life. Taemin pushed the door open slowly. Inside was a small room, a bed, a table, toys scattered on the floor. And sitting in the corner, wrapped in a dirty blanket, was a child. A human child. She was small, maybe 7 years old. Her hair was dark and tangled. Her face was thin from hunger, but her eyes were bright. She stared at Taemin with fear and defiance. In her hands, she held something. A crystal. It glowed with soft blue light. "Impossible," Kovan whispered. "Sir, she should not exist. Humans are extinct." Taemin lowered his weapon slowly. Apparently not all of them. The child pressed herself against the wall. "Stay back," she said. Her voice was small but firm. "I will protect myself." Taemin knelt down. He made himself smaller, less threatening. "We will not hurt you. What is your name?" The girl said nothing. She just held the crystal tighter. Taemin could see now that it was connected to her somehow. The light pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. "Commander," one of his soldiers said. His voice was hard. "Imperial law is clear. No humans can live. She must be eliminated." The soldier raised his weapon, pointed it at the child. Taemin felt his heart beat faster. The law was absolute, but this was just a child, a frightened, hungry child who had survived alone in the dark. Before Taemin could speak, the girl screamed. The crystal in her hands flared bright. A wave of energy exploded outward. Taemin was thrown backward. His soldiers crashed into the walls. Alarms began to wail throughout the basement. Systems long dead roared to life. Lights blazed on across the colony. Outside, defense turrets rose from the ground. Weapons that had not fired in 500 years locked onto the virus ship. "Retreat!" Tae-min shouted. "Everyone out! Now!" His team scrambled up the stairs. Warning shots fired over their heads from automated guns. The whole colony had become a fortress in seconds, all responding to the girl, to her fear, to her will. Tae-min was the last to leave. He looked back at the child. She had not moved. Tears ran down her face. But the crystal still glowed, still protected her. "We will return to the ship," he told his team when they were outside. "But we do not leave yet." "Sir," Coven asked, "the defenses will fire on us if we stay. They are warning shots only. The systems are old. They will not waste ammunition." Tae-min watched the basement entrance. "That child controls technology we have never seen. Technology that responds to human DNA. We need to understand this. We need to understand her." On the ship, Tae-min studied and scanned the girl. The readings were incredible. She was pure human. No genetic mixing. No modifications. Just a simple human child. But the crystal she carried was something else. It was not virus technology. Not human either. It was older. Much older. That night, Tae-min made a decision that would change everything. He returned to the basement. Alone, unarmed, he carried only food and water. The defense systems did not fire on him. Somehow, they knew he meant no harm. He found the girl still in her room, still holding the crystal, still crying quietly in the dark. "My name is Tae-min," he said softly. He placed the food and water on the floor. "I am not here to hurt you. I only want to talk." The girl watched him with those bright eyes. She was so thin, so tired. Finally, she spoke. "Daeun. My name is Daeun." "Daeun," Tae-min repeated. "How long have you been alone here?" 3 years. My parents died when the sickness came. They told me to stay in the shelter, to wait. Someone would come for me, they said." Her voice broke. "But no one came. Only you. Only monsters." Tae-min felt something crack inside his chest. 3 years. This child had survived alone for 3 years in the dark, waiting for rescue that never came. And when someone finally arrived, it was the very people who had destroyed her world. "I am sorry, Daeun. I am so very sorry." The words felt strange in his mouth. Virus did not apologize to humans. Humans were the enemy. Humans were extinct. But this child was real. Her pain was real. And in that moment, Tae-min knew his whole life had been built on lies. He reached out slowly. "Will you come with me? I promise you will be safe. I will protect you." Daeun looked at his hand, then at his face. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I am the only chance you have. And because something tells me you're the only chance the galaxy has." Daeun stood. She was so small. She took his hand. The moment she touched him, the crystal pulsed. A beam of light shot up into the sky, through the atmosphere, into space. A signal, a beacon, calling out to anyone who might be listening. Far away, in the darkness between the stars, something heard. Something that had been waiting for 500 years. The signal was received. Ships began to move. Humanity was not dead. One of their children had survived. And now, the Ember Fleet was coming home. Daeun sat in the corner of Tae-min's ship. She had not spoken since they left the planet. The crystal still glowed in her hands. She watched the virus crew with fearful eyes. They were dragons, the monsters from her mother's warnings. Tae-min brought her food. Real food, not the stale rations from the shelter. She ate slowly. Her stomach had forgotten what fresh meals felt like. "The crystal you hold," Tae-min said gently. "Where did you get it?" Daeun looked down at the blue light. "My mother gave it to me before she died. She said it would call for help. She said our family would come." "Your family? Are there more humans alive?" Daeun nodded. "Mother said we were sleepers. Humans hiding on forgotten worlds, waiting for the right time. But I do not know where they are. Only the crystal knows." Tae-min felt his heart race. More humans, alive, hidden. This changed everything. The Empire had declared humanity extinct. If even one survived, it meant the genocide was incomplete. And if the genocide was incomplete, then maybe other things the Empire taught were also lies. Coven entered the room. His face was pale. Not from fear, from shock. "Commander, we have a problem. A very large problem." "What is it?" "Ships. Dozens of them. They appeared from nowhere. They are surrounding us." Taemin ran to the bridge. His crew stood frozen at their stations. On the main screen, he saw them. Human ships. Old models. Designs from 500 years ago. But they were not dead hulks. They were alive. Armed. Dangerous. The largest ship moved forward. It was massive. A battleship from the old wars. Weapons charged. Targeting systems locked onto the Azure Wing. A voice came through the speakers. It was human. Deep. Angry. "Virith vessel. You have something that belongs to us. Return the child. Now, or you will be destroyed." Taemin's weapons officer looked at him. "Sir, their technology is strange. Our shields cannot read it properly. If they fire, we may not survive." "Do not fire," Taemin ordered. "Open a channel." The screen changed. A human face appeared. The man was older. His hair was gray. Scars marked his face. But his eyes were fierce. Alive with purpose. This was a warrior who had never stopped fighting. "My name is Captain Giaite. That child is my blood. My sister's daughter. The last of my family line. You will return her immediately. I am Commander Taemin. The child is safe. She is not harmed. I rescued her from—" "You rescued her? You?" Giaite laughed bitterly. "Your kind murdered her parents, destroyed her world, left her to die alone in the dark, and now you claim to rescue her." Taemin had no answer. Everything Giaite said was true. The Virith had done these things, were still doing them. He was part of it, a tool of genocide. Behind him, a small voice spoke. "Uncle Giaite?" Dune had come to the bridge. She stared at the screen, at the man she had never met, but somehow recognized. Family, the word her mother had used. The promise in the crystal. Giaite's hard face broke. Tears filled his eyes. "Dune, little Dune, I thought you were dead. I thought everyone was dead." "I waited," Dune said. "Mother told me to wait, to be brave. She said you would come. I am here now, child. I am here. Just hold on a moment longer." Giaite looked at Taemin again. The warmth was gone. "You have one chance, Virith. Lower your shields. Allow us to transport the child. Then leave. Never speak of this. If you do, we will hunt you across the galaxy." Taemin's crew waited for orders. They could fight. Maybe destroy a few human ships before dying. Or they could obey. Give up the child. Return to their lives. Pretend nothing had changed. But Taemin knew something had changed. Everything had changed. He had found a crying child in ashes. He had seen the truth in her eyes. He could not go back to ignorance. "I have another proposal." Taemin said, "I will give you Dune. No conditions. But I ask for something in return. You are in no position to ask for anything. I ask for asylum, for passage aboard your ships. I want to see your world. I want to know the truth about what happened 500 years ago." His crew gasped. Coven stepped forward. "Commander, you cannot be serious. That is treason. They will kill you. They will kill all of us. Then you may return without me. Tell the Empire I was killed in an accident. Tell them whatever you wish." Taemin looked at Giaite. "I am tired of lies. I want truth, even if it costs me everything." Giaite studied him for a long moment. Then he turned to someone off-screen. Voices argued in the background. Finally, he looked back. "Very well, but you will be tested. We have technology that reads truth from lies. If you fail, you die. If you pass, you may see our world. But you will be watched. Always. Do you accept these terms?" "I accept." An hour later, Taemin stood in the transport bay of a human flagship. Dune had run to Giaite the moment she saw him. He held her like she was made of glass, like she might disappear if he let go. Two human soldiers held weapons on Taemin. They looked at him with hatred. He did not blame them. He wore the uniform of their enemy. He represented everything that had destroyed their civilization. A woman approached. She was smaller than Giaite. She wore the robes of a scholar. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent. I am Dr. A1. I will conduct the truth scan. Please follow me. She led him to a medical room. A chair sat in the center. Strange devices surrounded it. Technology Taemin did not recognize. Sit, Hae-won commanded. This will not hurt, but it will reveal everything. Every thought, every intention, every lie you have ever told. Are you certain you want this? Taemin sat. He felt fear, but also relief. Finally, he would know if his doubts were justified, if the shame he felt was earned. I am certain. The machine activated. Light surrounded Taemin's head. He felt it probing his mind, searching through memories, examining beliefs he had never questioned. It felt like being torn apart and rebuilt at the same time. Images flashed before his eyes. His childhood lessons about the evil humans. His training to hunt and destroy their remnants. His pride in serving the Empire. His certainty that he was doing right. Then he saw Do-eun, crying in the ashes, and he saw his own reaction. Not joy at finding an enemy, but sorrow at seeing a child alone. His desire to protect her had been real, pure, untainted by orders or duty. The machine released him. Taemin slumped in the chair, exhausted, drained. Hae-won studied the readings on her screen. Her expression was unreadable. Giaite entered. Do-eun held his hand. They waited for the verdict. Finally, Hae-won spoke. He is telling the truth. His desire for knowledge is genuine. He has no intention to betray us. He did not know about the genocide. He was raised on lies. But now he seeks truth. She paused. However, that does not mean we should trust him. Truth and good intentions are not the same as loyalty. Giaite nodded slowly. Then he lives. For now. But he will be watched. Every moment. Every step. He looked at Taemin. Welcome to the Ember Fleet, Commander. I hope you find the truth you seek, though I suspect you will not enjoy it. Taemin stood on shaking legs. Through the window, he could see his ship departing, his crew returning home without him, his old life ending, a new one beginning. Do-eun walked over to him. She looked up with those bright eyes. You saved me, she said quietly. When your soldiers wanted to kill me, you stopped them. Thank you. Taemin knelt down to her level. He had no words. What could he say? He was part of the machine that destroyed her world. No amount of kindness could erase that. But Do-eun smiled, a small, fragile smile. Maybe you could be better than what you were taught. Maybe we all can. Those words struck him like lightning. Better than what he was taught. It seemed impossible. He was Virith, dragon, conqueror, destroyer. Could he become something else? The fleet began to move. 50 ships, ancient vessels kept alive through desperate ingenuity, hidden in the void between stars for 5 centuries, waiting, surviving, refusing to die. Taemin was about to witness something no Virith had seen in 500 years. A human civilization, not destroyed, not extinct, alive, growing, preparing. And somewhere far away, on the Virith homeworld, alarms began to sound. The Azure Wing had reported strange readings before contact was lost. High Arbiter Sangmi received the news. One word appeared in the report. One impossible word. Human. The hunt was beginning. The war was not over. It had only been sleeping. And now, like Do-eun in her shelter, it was waking up. The archive ship was enormous. Taemin had never seen anything like it. The vessel was older than the Virith Empire itself. Its hull bore scars from ancient battles, but inside it held something more precious than weapons. It held memory. Dr. Hae-won guided him through the corridors. Do-eun walked between them. The child had not left Taemin's side since they arrived. She trusted him now. He did not know why. He did not deserve it. Everything humanity was stored here, Hae-won said. Books, music, art, history. We saved what we could when Earth burned. This ship is our soul. They entered a vast chamber. Walls of light surrounded them. Images floated in the air. Taemin saw humans. Millions of them. building cities, exploring space, laughing, living, creating beauty. This was not the humanity he had been taught about. These were not conquerors, not monsters. They were people, just people. We discovered the Gateway Network 600 years ago. HFY explained. Ancient portals that connected the galaxy. They were built by a race called the progenitors, a species that disappeared long before humans or Virith existed. She touched the control. The images changed. Now Taemin saw the gateways. Massive rings of crystal and metal floating in space. Ships passing through them, traveling instantly across impossible distances. Humans began mapping the network. We met other species, shared knowledge, helped where we could. The galaxy was becoming united, peaceful. HFY's voice grew sad. Then we found the control nexus. What is that? Taemin asked. The heart of the Gateway Network. A device that controls all the portals. It can connect worlds, or close them off forever. It can reshape space itself. She looked at him. The progenitors built it as a gift, a tool for unity, but others saw it as a weapon. The images showed the Virith now. Young Virith, primitive, they had just learned to travel between stars. Humans had found them, taught them, shared technology. Taemin felt sick. This was not what he had been taught. In school, they said humans discovered the Virith and tried to enslave them, that the Virith fought for freedom. But these images showed friendship, partnership. The Virith elders grew afraid. HFY continued. They saw humans unlocking the Nexus. They believed humans would use it to dominate the galaxy, to become gods. So they acted first. The images turned dark. Fire, explosions, ships burning, planets dying, Earth, beautiful blue Earth, splitting apart under weapons fire. Billions of lives ended in hours. Taemin stepped back. No, this cannot be true. We saved the galaxy. We stopped human expansion. You committed genocide, HFY said quietly. Led by High Arbiter Sangmi, she orchestrated the attack, destroyed our homeworld, hunted survivors for centuries, then rewrote history to make your people the heroes. Dune tugged on Taemin's hand. Are you okay? He looked down at her. This child, orphaned by his people, left to cry alone in ashes, and she asked if he was okay. The kindness broke something inside him. Taemin fell to his knees. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I did not know, but that does not matter. I wore the uniform. I served the Empire. I helped erase your people from history. Tears fell from his eyes. Dragons rarely cried. How can you forgive me? Dune knelt beside him. She was so small, but in that moment, she seemed ancient, wise beyond her years. You did not know. Now you do. That is what matters. You can choose differently now. HFY helped Taemin stand. She led them deeper into the archives, to a sealed chamber. Security systems scanned them before allowing entry. Inside, a single pedestal held a holographic display. It showed a star map, and at its center, a location marked in red. The control nexus, HFY said. We found it, but we never activated it. We did not believe any one species should control such power. We wanted to share it, to create a council of all races, to use the gateways for peace. She looked at Dune. The child still held the glowing crystal. That crystal you carry. It is not just a beacon. It is a key. The progenitors built safeguards into the Nexus. Only someone with their DNA can activate it. And somehow, some humans carry fragments of that DNA. We do not know why. Perhaps the progenitors planned it. Perhaps we are meant to inherit their legacy. Dune looked at the crystal. I can turn on the Nexus? Yes. The crystal contains a location, and your DNA contained the access code. HFY paused. That is why your mother hid you so carefully. Why she gave you the crystal. She knew you were special, important. Before anyone could speak further, alarm shrieked throughout the ship. Jiaite's voice echoed over the speakers. Battle stations. We have been found. Virith dread fleet approaching. All civilians to shelters. This is not a drill. Taemin ran to a viewing port. In the distance, he saw them, hundreds of Virith warships, the most powerful fleet in the Empire, and leading them was a vessel he recognized, the Eternal Flame, Sangmi's personal flagship. HFY's face went pale. How'd they find us? We have hidden for 500 years. How? Taemin closed his eyes. He knew. My ship, the Azure Wing. When it returned without me, they would have examined its logs, tracked its path, found the coordinates where we met. He looked at them. I led them here. This is my fault. Jiaite burst into the chamber. His face was grim. We cannot fight them. They outnumber us 10 to 1. Our only choice is to run, to scatter and hope some of us survive. He looked at his niece, at the last of his family. I am sorry, Dune. I promised to keep you safe, but I have failed. HFY shook her head. There's another option. We go to the Nexus. Now, activate it before Sangmi can stop us. That is suicide, Jiaite said. The Nexus is in the Veil, the most dangerous region of space. Radiation storms, gravity wells, ships that enter rarely come out. Then we will be the first to succeed. HFY pulled up the star map. The Veil is 3 jumps from here. If we leave now, we might reach it before the Dread Fleet catches us. At that moment, a transmission came through. A face appeared on the screen. Taemin recognized her immediately. High Arbiter Sangmi. She looked exactly as she did in propaganda images. Beautiful, powerful, ancient. Her scales were pure white, a sign of age among the Virith. Her voice was cold. Humans, you have hidden well, but your time is over. Surrender the child. Surrender Commander Taemin. Do this, and the rest of you may live as prisoners. Refuse, and you will all be destroyed. Jiaite stepped forward. We will never surrender. Not to you. Not after what you did to our world. To our people. We would rather die free than live as your slaves. Sangmi smiled. It was not a kind smile. So be it. I gave you a chance. Remember that when your ships burn, when your children scream, this is your choice, not mine. The transmission ended. Jiaite looked at his people. At HFY, at Dune, at Taemin. We go to the Veil. All ships, maximum speed. We activate the Nexus or we die trying. He picked up Dune, held her close. And if we succeed, we change everything. We give humanity a future. The fleet turned. Engines roared to life. 50 ships racing toward the unknown. Behind them, the Dread Fleet gave chase. The hunt had begun. But on the Virith homeworld, something else was happening. A scholar named Unesio sat in a forbidden archive. She had been researching for years, collecting evidence, building a case. She had proof, video recordings from the original attack on Earth, communications between Sangmi and her generals, evidence that humans had not been aggressors, that the war was built on lies. Unesio encrypted the files. She sent them to Taemin's personal communicator, a message across the stars, a chance at truth. But the transmission was detected. Soldiers burst into her chamber. They dragged her away. She did not resist. She had done what was needed. The truth was out there now. It could not be stopped. Aboard the human flagship, Taemin's communicator beeped. He looked at the incoming message, at the files, at the proof. His hands shook as he watched the recordings. Saw Sangmi order the attack. Heard her laugh as Earth burned. He fell to his knees again. It is all true, every word. We are the monsters. We have always been the monsters. Dune sat beside him. Then stop being a monster. Help us instead. You can choose. Right now, choose. Taemin looked at this small human child, this beacon of hope in the darkness. She was right. He could choose. He had always been able to choose. He just never realized it until now. He stood, wiped his tears. I will help you reach the Nexus. I know Virith tactics. I can help you survive long enough to activate it. But after that, he paused. After that, I do not know what I am. Not Virith, not human. Something between. Something new. Jiaite clasped his shoulder. Then you are exactly what the galaxy needs. Welcome to the fight, Commander. The fleet jumped to light speed, racing toward destiny. toward the veil, toward a device that could change everything. Behind them, Sangmi's dread fleet followed. The final battle was coming, and the whole galaxy would be changed by what happened next. The veil was beautiful and terrifying. Clouds of gas glowed in colors Timin had no names for. Lightning jumped between them. Gravity pulled in strange directions. Space itself seemed broken here. The Ember fleet moved carefully through the chaos. Ships had to dodge radiation bursts, navigate around gravity wells. One wrong move meant death, but they had no choice. The Dread fleet was right behind them. Giaite stood on the bridge of his flagship. His hands gripped the command chair. How much further to the Nexus? 2 hours at current speed, the navigator replied. But, sir, the Virith are gaining. They have better shields. They can move faster through the storms. Taemin stepped forward. He had been studying the tactical displays, learning how humans fought. They were clever, creative, but they lacked firepower. Let me help. I know how Sangmi thinks, how the Dread fleet operates. If we use the environment against them, we might buy enough time. Giaite looked at him. Trust did not come easy, but they were desperate. What do you suggest? Split the fleet. Send half through the asteroid field to the north, the rest through the radiation zone to the south. The Virith will have to divide their forces to follow both groups. Then we collapse the paths behind us, trap some of their ships. Give us time. It was risky, but everything was risky now. Giaite gave the orders. The fleet split. Human ships scattered like leaves in wind. The Virith Dread fleet hesitated. Then they divided, just as Taemin predicted. On one of the smaller human ships, a young pilot named Bore guided her fighter through the asteroid field. She was 16, too young to be in combat, but the Ember fleet needed every pilot they had. She had met Dune 3 days ago. The little girl had smiled at her, asked about her ship. Bore had shown her the engine modifications she built herself. Dune said they were beautiful. No one had ever called Bore's work beautiful before. Now Bore flew to protect that little girl, to give her a chance at the future. Target locked, she said into her communicator. Firing mining charges. Explosives detonated. Asteroid shattered. Debris filled the space behind the human ships. 3 Vira vessels could not stop in time. They crashed into the rocks, exploded. The rest had to slow down, find another route. Bore grinned. Got them, moving to regroup with. A Virith fighter appeared from nowhere. It had been hiding in the debris field, waiting, its weapons fired. Bore's shields failed. Her engine took a direct hit. Alarm screamed. Her ship was dying. She tried to eject, but the mechanism was damaged. She was trapped. This is Bore. I am hit. Ship is going down. Tell Dune. Her voice cracked. Tell her I am sorry. Tell her to be brave. She looked at her screens, at the Virith capital ship pursuing the flagship, the ship where Dune was, where her future was. Bore made a choice. She turned her dying fighter toward the capital ship, pushed the engines to maximum. For Earth, for humanity, for Dune. Her ship struck the capital ship at full speed. The explosion was massive. The Virith vessel broke apart. Hundreds of enemy soldiers died in an instant. The human fleet gained precious minutes. On the flagship, Dune felt it. Felt the moment Bore died. The crystal in her hands dimmed for just a second. She started crying. She did not know why, but somehow she knew. Someone brave had just given everything for her. The 2 halves of fleet rejoined. They had lost 12 ships, but they bought time. Ahead, through the storms and chaos, they saw it. The Gateway Control Nexus. It was enormous, a sphere the size of a moon. Its surface was covered in crystal patterns that pulsed with faint light. The progenitor architecture was unlike anything made by younger races. It seemed to exist in more dimensions than the eye could see. Take us in, Giaite ordered. Landing team, prepare to board. Hey, one, you are with me. Taemin, you too. And Dune. He knelt beside his niece. Are you ready, little one? Dune wiped her tears. Yes, for Bore, for everyone who died, I am ready. They took a small shuttle to the Nexus surface. The structure opened for them. Doors that had been sealed for thousands of years recognized Daun's presence. The crystal she carried sang in harmony with the ancient technology. Inside, the corridors were vast. Empty, silent. Their footsteps echoed. Lights activated as they walked. Systems waking after an eternity of sleep. The central chamber should be at the core, HFY said. She consulted her datapad. According to our research, that is where the control interface is located. They walked for what felt like hours. The Nexus was a maze, but Daun seemed to know the way. She led them unerringly. The crystal pulled her forward like a magnet. Finally, they reached it, a chamber so large they could not see the ceiling. In the center stood a platform, and on that platform was a pod, made of crystal and light. Something moved inside it. Tae-min raised his weapon. "What is that?" Daun walked forward. Unafraid, she placed her hand on the pod. It opened. Inside was a being unlike anything they had seen. Tall, slender, made of light as much as matter. A progenitor, the last of its kind. It opened its eyes. They were ancient, sad, but also hopeful. It spoke directly into their minds. Not words, just understanding. Pure communication. They learned its story. The progenitors had built the gateway network to unite the galaxy, to share knowledge, to prevent war. They engineered humanity, gave them fragments of progenitor DNA, made them heirs to the network, guardians of peace. But the progenitors died before they could complete their work. Disease, natural disaster. It did not matter. They were gone. Only one remained, sleeping in the Nexus, waiting for humanity to come, to fulfill the promise. The progenitor showed Daun what the Nexus could do. Activate all the gateways, connect every world, create instant travel across the galaxy, or destroy it all, close every portal, leave species isolated, alone. The choice was hers. Before Daun could respond, the chamber doors exploded. Sang-mi strode in with her elite guard, 20 soldiers in heavy armor, weapons charged. She had followed them. Caught up, step away from the device, Sang-mi commanded. Her voice echoed in the vast space. This ends now. Humanity ends now, as it should have 500 years ago. Jiaite and his team raised their weapons, but they were outnumbered, outgunned. Tae-min stepped between them and Sang-mi, between his old life and his new one. No, this is wrong. Everything we have done is wrong. I have seen the truth, Arbiter, the recordings, the evidence. Humanity was not the enemy. We were. Tae-min's voice was steady. Certain. We committed genocide based on fear and lies. Sang-mi laughed. Truth? You speak of truth? The truth is that we are strong. They are weak. The strong rule. That is the only truth that matters. Then your truth is a lie. Because I see humans who survived 500 years of hiding, who built a civilization from nothing, who protect a child even when facing death. That is not weakness. That is strength beyond anything we have ever shown. Sang-mi's eyes narrowed. You are a traitor, a disgrace. Your name will be erased, your clan destroyed, and I will start with you. She raised her weapon, aimed at Tae-min. Time seemed to slow. He had made his choice. He would die for it, but at least he would die knowing he chose right. Daun screamed. The crystal in her hands exploded with light. Energy waves knocked everyone backward. The progenitor rose from its pod. It had been dormant, watching, but now it acted. It created a barrier. Light made solid, separating Sang-mi and her soldiers from the others. The Arbiter fired at the barrier. Her weapons did nothing. The progenitor technology was beyond her. The progenitor turned to Daun. It communicated again. The choice was hers. But she must choose now. The barrier would not hold forever. Sang-mi had brought more troops. They were coming. Jiaite knelt beside his niece. Whatever you choose, I am with you. We all are. HFY touched her shoulder. You carry the hopes of our entire species. But you are also just a child. That is a terrible burden. I am sorry we must place it on you. Tae-min stood. His scales were burned. His armor cracked. But he smiled at her. I found you crying in ashes. You taught me I could be better. Whatever you decide, it will be right. I believe in you. Dune looked at the crystal, at the progenitor, at Sangmi screaming behind the barrier. She thought of her mother, her father, Bore, all the people who died so she could stand here, all the people who believe humanity deserved a future. She thought of Timin, a dragon who learned to be more than his programming, who chose truth over comfort, who stood with humans, even when his whole world told him not to. She knew what to do. She placed a crystal into the control interface, her hand on the activation panel. The Nexus responded, waiting for her command. The future of the galaxy hung on the choice of one crying child found in ashes, and Dune made her choice. Dune activated the Nexus, but not in the way anyone expected. The crystal merged with the control interface. Light exploded outward. The entire structure began to hum, a sound that could be felt in bones, in hearts, in the very fabric of space itself. The progenitor watched, curious. Dune was not taking control. She was not claiming the network for humanity. She was doing something different, something new. Images flooded into Dune's mind. The progenitor showed her what the network could become. Under human control, it would unite the galaxy. Humans could spread again, rebuild, become powerful. They could rule, just as a virus feared. Or she could destroy it, shut down all the gateways forever, leave every species isolated on their own worlds. The virus could not hunt humans if they could not travel. Safety through separation. Dune looked at Jaite, her uncle, the man who carried rage for 500 years. She looked at Haywan, the scholar who preserved human knowledge. What should I do? Haywan hesitated. I do not know. Power corrupts. We have seen that. But isolation also destroys. I trust you to find a better path. She looked at Timin, the dragon who learned to be different. What should I do? He knelt beside her. Do what your heart tells you is right, not what anger demands, not what fear suggests. Dune closed her eyes. She thought of her mother, teaching her to read, her father, showing her the stars. Boare, smiling as she explained how engines worked. All the kindness she had known, all the love that survived even in hiding, even in fear. She made her choice. She reconfigured the Nexus, not to give humans control, not to destroy the network, but to share it, equally, with everyone. The gateways reactivated across the galaxy, hundreds of them, thousands, but now they had no master. No single species could close them. No empire could monopolize travel. The network belonged to all, or to none. Same thing. A wave of energy rippled through space. Every world with a gateway felt it. Ships that had been trapped by closed portals suddenly had access again. Civilizations that had been isolated for centuries could reconnect. On the Virith homeworld, scholar Yunesio sat in her prison cell. She had been arrested for sending the truth to Taemin. She expected execution. Instead, she felt the energy wave. She smiled. Something had changed. Something big. Moments later, her cell door opened. Not guards. Citizens. Virus civilians who had seen the recordings she leaked. Who learned the truth about the genocide. They freed her. Carried her to the streets. Demanded answers from the council. The Virith Empire began to fracture. World after world questioned the official history. Demanded the council explain the lies. Some refused to serve Sangmi any longer. The Dread Fleet itself began to divide. Inside the Nexus, Sangmi screamed. She pounded on the barrier. The progenitor technology held. She could see everything happening but could do nothing to stop it. Her empire, her power, crumbling because of one child. You have doomed yourself, she shouted at Dune. You could have had everything. You could have ruled. Instead, you gave power away. You are a fool. Dune looked at her, this ancient dragon who destroyed worlds out of fear. You are wrong. I did not give power away. I gave freedom to everyone, including you. The barrier fell. Sangmi raised her weapon, but her soldiers did not fire. They looked at each other, at their leader, at the humans. One by one, they lowered their weapons. A young soldier stepped forward. Arbiter, we have received new orders. From the Council, you are recalled. There will be an inquiry into the events of 500 years ago. You are to return immediately. Sangmi's face twisted with rage. I am the Council. I am the Empire. You cannot. You are under arrest, the soldier said quietly. Come peacefully or we will use force. For the first time in 5 centuries, Sangmi had no power, no control. She was just one person facing the consequences of her actions. The soldiers escorted her away. She did not go peacefully, but she went. The progenitor approached Dayun. It communicated one last time. It was proud. She had done what its own people could not. She chose cooperation over dominance. She proved worthy of the legacy. The beam began to fade. Its time was ending. It had waited thousands of years for this moment. Now it could rest. The galaxy was in good hands. Small hands, but good ones. Dune reached out. Wait, do not go. I have so many questions. The progenitor smiled, a feeling more than an expression. It told her she would find the answers. In time. By exploring. By learning. By building bridges between species. That was the real gift, not the gateways. The chance to discover together. Then it was gone, dissolved into light, into memory. The last progenitor had passed, but its dream lived on. 6 months later, Dune stood in a grand hall. It had been built in neutral space, far from any homeworld. The first meeting place of the Galactic Assembly. Representatives from 100 species gathered here. Virith, human, and dozens of others who had been reconnected by the gateways. Taemin stood beside her. He had become a bridge between species, working with Jiaite to establish rules for the assembly, to create laws that protected everyone. He wore no uniform now, no Virith armor, just simple robes. He represented no empire, only truth. Jiaite had changed too. The anger that fueled him for so long had faded. Not gone. It would never be fully gone. But it no longer controlled him. He worked for the future now, not revenge of the past. Hei-Wan had opened the archives to all species, sharing human knowledge freely. Other races shared in return. Technology, art, philosophy. The exchange was just beginning. But already it bore fruit. The Ember Fleet had emerged from hiding. Humans began rebuilding, slowly, carefully, not seeking dominance, just seeking home. Worlds that had been dead for centuries were being reclaimed, life returning to scorched earth. Sami had been tried, found guilty, but Dune argued against execution. She said killing Sangmi would make them no better than what the Arbiter had been. Instead, Sangmi was exiled, sent to a remote world with no gateway, to live with what she had done. Now Dune prepared to address the assembly for the first time. She was 9 years old, still small, still carrying the crystal that had saved her. But she was no longer just a crying child in ashes. She was a Nexus Keeper, the living symbol of what the galaxy could become. Taemin squeezed her hand. Are you nervous? Yes, but I remember what you told me. Do what love requires, not what fear suggests. She walked to the center of the hall. A platform raised her so everyone could see. Hundreds of beings, different sizes, different shapes, all watching, all waiting to hear what this human child would say. Dayun spoke. Her voice was small but clear. My name is Dayun. I am human. My people were almost destroyed. We hid for 500 years. We cried in the ashes of our worlds. We thought we were alone. But we were not alone. A Virith named Taemin found me. He could have killed me. His laws said he should, but he chose differently. He chose to see me as a person, not an enemy. That choice changed everything. She held up the crystal. It glowed softly. The progenitors gave us the gateways as a gift. They wanted us to explore together, to learn together, to grow together. But fear made us fight instead. Fear made us destroy. I do not want revenge for what was done to my people. I want something better. I want a galaxy where children do not have to hide, where people do not have to fear because of what species they were born as, where we judge each other by our choices, not our scales or skin. The hall was silent. Every being listened. some with hope, some with doubt, but all listened. We cannot change the past. My world is still dead. Earth is still gone. Bo-Ra and millions of others cannot come back. But we can choose the future. We can choose to be better than what came before. Humanity does not seek to rule. We only ask for what everyone deserves. A home, safety, the chance to live without fear. And we want the same for all of you. Virith, everyone. No more empires. No more genocide. Just cooperation. Just peace. Dune paused, looked at all the faces, all the beings who had gathered. The progenitors believed we could do this. They gave us the tools. But tools do not build homes. People do, together, if we choose. So I ask you now, what do you choose? For a long moment, nothing happened. Then one representative stood, a Virith elder, not from Sangmi's faction, from a colony world that had questioned the Empire for years. I choose peace. I choose cooperation. And I apologize for what my people did, for the lies we told, for the lives we took. We cannot undo it, but we can do better now. Another stood, a being from a species humans had befriended before the genocide. They had been forced to forget that friendship, to accept the Virith version of history. Now they could remember. We choose to rebuild what was broken, to honor what was lost, to welcome humanity home. One by one they stood, representatives from across the galaxy, choosing hope over fear, choosing the future Dune offered. Not everyone. Some still doubted. Some still feared. But enough. More than enough. Dune smiled. It was the first real smile she had felt since her parents died. The first time she felt something other than survival. She felt hope. That night, she stood with Timin on an observation deck, looking at the stars, at the vast galaxy spread before them. So many worlds. So many possibilities. What happens now? She asked. Now we build, we explore, we make mistakes and learn from them. We argue and compromise and slowly figure out how to live together. Taemin smiled. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. I miss my parents. I miss Bo-Ra. I wish they could see this. They can, through you, you carry their dreams, their hopes. Every choice you make honors their memory. Taemin knelt beside her. They would be so proud. Dune held the crystal. It pulsed with gentle light, the same light that activated the defense systems, that called the Ember Fleet, that changed the Nexus, that changed everything. She had been found crying in ashes, a child alone in the dark. But that was not the end of her story. It was the beginning. The dragon who found her learned to choose differently, and together, they changed the path of destiny itself. The galaxy would never be perfect. There would still be conflicts. Still be pain, still be loss, but there would also be hope. There would be cooperation. There would be the chance to be better. And that was enough. That was everything. Because what the dragon found crying in the ashes was not just a child. It was the future. And the future finally looked bright.